What is going on, everybody? How are you guys doing tonight? It is so good to see everybody. And as you can see, we have a very, very special stream for you guys tonight, as we have Michael from Last Looks here. And we have the honor and the privilege to be joined by Andrew Carlisle himself, one of the three Mr. Leatherheads. Welcome aboard, guys. It's so good to have you. Michael, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really well, especially considering my lack of sleep. But I'm still awake. I'm still kicking. I just brewed coffee right now, and that'll keep me alive.
Life's been crazy, huh? Crazy busy.
Oh, it has. It's been insane. We just wrapped production on a short film. So my day gig is that I do independent movie production. I have a boutique production company with my best buddy, and we do full service movie production. And so we just wrapped a multi-day short film shoot today, and that's just been nonstop. I probably have maybe like 3 or 4 hours of sleep the past couple of nights.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly feeling really great right now. This time last night, I was useless, but I'm good now.
Well, you have every reason to feel great because there was an epic launch today that we are so excited to talk about. But before we do that, Andrew, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good, brother. Thank you for having me on here. Just drinking some Delicioso Dr. Pepper cream soda.
Nice.
Michael disappeared.
Last Michael.
Uh-oh. I think he's going. He might be trying to go off Wi-Fi again. I think we went through that one. There he is.
There we go.
I don't know what happened there.
There we go.
I don't know. I could explain that.
So, Michael, before we get into the main reason why we're here today, talk to us about Last Looks. You know, we've had you on the channel before, I think a few times. But you know, what's new? What's exciting? What are some goals that you have? What's been going on?
Well, yeah. First of all, thank you guys for hosting this stream tonight. Just thank you. This is amazing. There's nowhere else I'd rather be right now on the day that I launched this brand new collection. For anyone who's unfamiliar with Last Looks, we are a grooming company. We make grooming, hair, beard, and body products that are inspired by. Hey, Steven, they're inspired by my favorite films. I'm an actor, and I'm a filmmaker, and I live in Los Angeles. I moved here. Thanks, Eric. I moved here about 8 to 9 years ago for my filmmaking aspirations. I'm just obsessed with movies. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I got involved in this. Well, I discovered beard products and their uses. I'd always kind of grown beards throughout my adulthood, but I'd always shave them because they'd get itchy and stuff like that. So 3 or 4 years ago, I discovered beard oil. What's up, swag? And I got obsessed with collecting. I'm just like an obsessive collector of everything. Well, books for one thing, just everything. So I was an avid fan of companies. I've always really been into marketing on like a grassroots DIY level. I came from like the indie band kind of scene growing up, where you'd write and record your own songs, you'd screen print your own shirts and sell, drive your own tour bus and stuff. And so I fell in love with beard products and their uses, their importance. And I started this company it was a year ago, because we just celebrated our first birthday just a few weeks ago. And so it's called Last Looks Grooming. Last Looks is a filmmaking term. And it actually means it's like what the hair and makeup person does right before they go for a take. The hair and makeup person will rush up to the actors, make sure their hair is in line, they're looking good, they have no flyaways, there's no makeup smudges. They call that the last looks. And then they run off stage, and the director yells action, and then they start shooting. So Last Looks is a company, and we make beard products, primarily bath and body and hair now as well. And everything's inspired by movies. The whole idea is what would it smell like to live in the world of my favorite films.
Yeah. And that's so awesome. I mean, I remember even before we started the channel and I had my first opportunity to message you and just tell you how much of a cool idea that it was, being the movie buff that I am as well. And here we are today with this another Last Look stream that we're just so happy to have with another great release. And dude, you've had a busy first year, and dude, you've killed it, man. You've been just as good as anybody out there.
Thank you.
And I mean, just the innovation and the originality that your company has is, up there with with some of the best out there already.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So so what are we releasing today? There's been a rush of some amazing reviews out already on this awesome scent. If you have not seen any of those reviews, please go do so, because we know that the overall response thus far to this scent has been really positive. So yeah, we are going over Below the Law, and that is Michael's newest release, based on the television show Better Call Saul, which is a spinoff of my all-time favorite show, Breaking Bad, and it's completely awesome. So yeah, Michael, let me give you the floor again. Why don't you talk to us about it, and then Andrew, I want to hear what you have to say about it as well.
Yeah, thank you. So Below the Law, like you said, is inspired by the TV series Better Call Saul. And just right off the top, the scent profile is coconut water, cocobolo wood, New Mexico desert sage, and musk. Anyone who's familiar with, thanks Tyson. Anyone who's familiar, Eric, I saw your comment on my hair too. No, I didn't cut it. It's back here. It's just it's out of my life right now.
Back in black.
Yeah, I go camping a lot and it gets tangled a lot. And I'm probably not someone who should have long hair because I don't really take great care of it. So it's got tangles that I just don't want to deal with it. So luckily we have these new hats and I just get it out of the way. So Below the Law is inspired by Better Call Saul. People who are familiar with the show will recognize some of those the scent profile notes. But for anyone who's not familiar, just a quick, just what it's inspired by generally is some of the locations in the show Better Call Saul. For instance, there's a recurring nail salon, and there's this whole comedic bit with a tank of water, like a little pitcher, not a pitcher, the word escapes me right now, and it's filled with coconut water. Cucumber water. And there's just like a running comedic bit that pops up a lot. And then cocobolo wood is also from a recurring theme. The show is about this guy who's kind of like this, like somewhat low life but endearing lawyer, and he has aspirations to be a really great lawyer, but he's just not such a great lawyer. But he tries really hard. He gets an opportunity at one point in the show to work for a really prestigious law firm, and they offer him, an apartment and a car and everything and a desk. And they're like, "What kind of desk? Whatever kind of desk." And he chooses a cocobolo wood desk because he gets a kick out of the word cocobolo wood. And so that's a scent profile in it. Of course, the show takes place in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of desert scenery, a lot of like the chaparral of the hills, of the rolling sand dunes in New Mexico. So there's New Mexico desert sage. And then it's all on a base of musk, because for one thing, musk is a very common and important base note in scents because it lasts long and it holds together the top notes and the middle notes. But also, there's a lot of like nervous tension in the show, and I feel like Jimmy, the character who's put in those situations, would have kind of like a musky, like he's kind of like a wolf. I picture him like a wolf, like a hungry wolf, and so that's the inspiration for the musk.
Makes sense, yeah. It's amazing. Like, it's one of those scents. When I first got it, I read the profile and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm really going to pick up from it. And it's one of a kind. I'll tell you. Andrew, how do you feel about it?
So funny story. So when he sent me the product, that's like right around the time I started getting sick. And so the first time, like I couldn't really get anything because it just had massive sickness going on. But after I began to use it, fell absolutely in love with it. You get that cucumber water like right off the bit, and it just smells fantastic. And then that woodiness comes in, and I absolutely love it. It's all day long lasting, and I'm very excited to. And you may notice that when the guy stuck their bottle up, I did not, and that is because I'm in the process of moving, and I went and forgot it because I already took all my beard oils, all my beard products, and I left every Last Looks except for a couple of shower goods I have here. And so I'm using the shower and conditioner though, and so Michael, you should use that sometime.
Yeah, no, I do use that. I can't really keep up with my gritty, grungy lifestyle. But I appreciate it. Thank you for those kind words, Andrew. I really appreciate that.
Always.
So for those who, I mean, you guys can obviously see, but Michael was gracious tonight. So during this stream, and this is going to go until midnight Pacific time, we're East Coast time. I believe Andrew's Central.
Yeah.
So until midnight, and please, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, 25% off. But if you spend $50, he's going to kick in an oil of your choice. He's going to kick in a shower gel of your choice. So, I mean, you can't beat that, guys.
That's it. That's what's going on tonight until midnight. Now, that's actually just like a premium offer for everyone who's in the stream tonight and anyone who takes advantage of that before midnight Pacific time. We do have a promotion going on through Sunday, and that's if you purchase any 3 mix or match items from within the Below the Law collection, you'll get a free beard wash in the family scent. That was our first release 1 year ago. But the body washes are new. That didn't come out a year ago. Those came out just about 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Right.
So
the body wash is awesome.
The body wash is
Thank you.
amazing. Highly
Thank you.
recommend them.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, so Swag, obviously, very, very impressed. And a perfect example of a don't knock until you try it type thing because, when you read something and even when you just smell something out of the bottle, putting it in your beard usually just tells you a different story. And, I've had that experience so many times where I've smelled something out of the bottle and I'm just like, oh, man, I don't even know if I even want to try this, but I do it. And then next thing you know, it's turns into like a top scent. It's crazy how that works and stuff because a lot of these company owners and Michael, you're one of them. They're just magicians on how they're able to just let all these scent profiles shine throughout the day, and that's something that I really appreciated with this scent. I really think the cucumber water is the star of the show for sure. But as it starts to kind of die down a little bit, you really get that muskiness. I think the Coca-Cola I would kind of describe it as, it's not really like it kind of has like a little spice to it, I guess. But it's definitely something that I haven't smelled before. And then when you just put them all together, you just get something that really hasn't been, nothing that I've experienced before, which is always appreciated.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I was trying to do something different with this one because I wanted to go in a different direction than a lot of our other releases. This is number 6 in our cinema series, our 6th release among all of our movie-inspired scents. And I had noticed, usually I'm working on many all at once. At any given moment, I'm working on more than a dozen scents. And so my release, the order in which I release them is not always known to me, but I have a lot in development. And I had realized that my first 5 releases are scents that I consider kind of dark scents, things like tobacco and leather, things with oud and that. Yeah, we got a leather head here. So, things with, like tobacco, leather, some oud. And I wanted to actually go more diverse, take a step away from that for now to round out my offerings. And so I wanted to go with something that's vibrant and fresh this time. And so that's what I was going.
Yeah. And I think you did really good with that. I think, in my opinion, all your other cinema scents are on the stronger side. They let you know that they're there. This one is very subtle, but what I like, I get a strong 6 hours out of this. I can still smell it for about 8, but it is definitely there for 6 hours, because when you smell it, it is very subtle. And what's weird is I've had like cucumber water before, like, you know how like people do mixed with the drink. It doesn't smell like cucumber. It smells like cucumber water, which is, you're probably like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah,
you
just get that freshness from the water.
You don't get cucumber.
You know, and that's something that that's where you're a magician at. We talked about it when you released, our current favorite scent, both of us, that ginger ale, because you were able to hit that carbonation. And, I don't expect you to tell us your secret, and you probably shouldn't, but yeah, I mean, you nailed it, and you did it again on this one. So, yeah, I described it when we just released our No Shave November scents that we would recommend, and on our list we had this, and I described it, and I wanted to put people in a situation where, imagine yourselves literally walking through a desert. You haven't had water or a drink in however long, and you finally get to that magical island in the middle of the desert, but it's not an illusion, it's the real thing, and that's the kind of freshness you get out of it.
Such a good description.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've been saving. I couldn't wait to say that. So.
And that scene really, I mean, there are scenes like that in the show, trudging through the desert, just, famished and sunburnt. And that's what I was going for. And for the water part, I was really, that was something I had in mind from the start. To me, as I was developing the scent, to get cucumber wasn't enough for me, because that's only halfway there to the reference and to what's going on in the show. The show doesn't have scenes about cucumbers. It's not like a culinary kind of aspect. It's more like it's literally a spa. They're in a spa and there's cucumber water, and I needed that refreshing, sparkling quality to it. So I appreciate it, and I'm very happy that you guys say that comes through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I want to say hello to some of the peeps in here. We got Mr. Sober Chef Eric. What is going on? Tyson from Faithfully Bearded, Everett, Ron, Marvelous Bearded Metal Chef, Kyle's brother, and my cousin Steve. What's going on, dude? We got Beard Swag, of course, in here. Cribs, how you doing? And we got Devin. What is going on, man? And then we got one of my new favorite people out there, Jay Cruz, Mr. Healthy Bearded. Man, let me tell you something. If you have not been on one of Jay Cruz's or Healthy Bearded's Instagram lives, please do yourself the favor and do so, because he has the most positive attitude. He is energetic. He's full of life. And I tell you what, if I'm feeling in a crap mood, I got to get myself a dose of Jay Cruz, because he's awesome. So please do yourselves a favor and do that. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for hopping in here. And just really excited for this launch. And are we thinking a giveaway?
Yeah, I'm feeling a giveaway.
Okay, yeah. What do you think? What are you thinking for a first giveaway?
Everything.
Oh, I don't know. What do you guys want?
What if we start off with like an oil?
I think that sounds great.
Okay. Scent of their choice. What do you think? What do you think?
I'm into the scent of the choice.
Okay.
I don't want to limit anyone. If they have their eye on something, I want them to get what they want.
Okay.
A man of the people.
Man of the people.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Does that scent of the choice include Below the Law, or would you prefer maybe another one?
Good point. I would
have the special deals for everything. You want to do any choice but Below the Law?
Yes, that exactly.
Okay. So we are going to do our very first giveaway, and we are going to do your choice of an oil, and that will be from the concession series or the cinema series, right?
You're right. Right.
Okay. Of your choice, other than Below the Law, because we got some really good discounts going on for that specific scent. And yeah, we want to just do the number generator, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So yeah, why don't you you usually control it, so why don't you go ahead and get us started?
All right, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
And of course, only answer once. When we say that GO word is when you can do it. And then, no numbers after we say stop. So you know how it goes. Whatever comes up first on our screen, there is that lag. So if your number does come up first on your screen, but not ours, we do apologize for that. But we all know you've heard this before. So there we go. Kyle, whenever you're ready.
All right, guys. So go ahead and, like Joe said, only enter once. Go ahead and give me a number 1 through 12. Go ahead and go. A number 1 through 12.
How many do we have in the stream right now?
26.
26.
If we get to 100 people, I'm going to get a Last Looks tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
I don't condone that. I love it. I honestly love it.
It's going to be Lord of the Rings inspired, but with Last Looks.
Wow. It's crazy how they all come in at once. All right. I do see a winner. Let me double check.
I have 2 guesses of who it is.
All right. And our winner is the man, the myth, the legend, Everett.
Congrats, Everett.
If you need recommendations, hit me up.
Okay. And Everett, we know you're on Instagram, so is it cool if they just reach out to you, Mike?
Absolutely. You can reach out to me on Instagram, or I have a contact form on lastlooksgrooming.com. Either of those work for me.
A lot of good sense, Everett. So make sure you check them out, brother. And congratulations on the win.
Congrats.
All right. And I have that written down just in case.
So Andrew, man, how is your channel going? Talk to us about that. I know you're doing a big move right now, right? How big of a move is this?
So I'm moving about 70 miles away. It was a whole bunch of everything, and it was just like, it wasn't an expected move. It was one of those last minutes. I'm a man of faith, and it was like very faith inspired. For those who don't know my journey, I just passed over 900 days of sobriety. I think today's 910, and like, this past few months have been hard on everybody. But you may have heard. I know Joe and I were talking about earlier about the Leatherhead scent that we did, and that was inspired because I was like very tempted to relapse, had a dream that I relapsed, and then died in that dream, and so
wow.
I decided I wasn't using alcohol since anymore, and then that's how that sin happened. But it was during this time I reached out to a fellow veteran of mine who just happens to be a pastor, and me and him have been cool for a couple of years, and he was just like, "Why don't you come to my church? We have been talking about it for years." And he was just like, "You can live in the church and then just like serve, work, do everything, and then we'll make sure you're taken care of." And so I thought about it, prayed about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And so decided it, and started packing up everything in the process of moving. But I was doing a veteran stream where I was interviewing veterans, some that I served with, some I've met along the journey. One of them was the guy I served with named Ryan Cross. Another guy y'all probably haven't heard of, his name's the Bluegrass Bearded. Interviewed him. And so I like to get back into that, get back into some reviews. I kind of miss it. So it's definitely something I like to do. But long story short, just as soon as I get done with this move at the end of November, I'll be completely settled in by the beginning of December. I'll be done with school for the semester. I won't be working anymore. I'll just be living off my GI Bill. And so I'll be good just to sit back and relax after that.
Awesome, man. And what's the name of your channel? If you want to give that a plug.
It is Andrew Carlisle 11B, which stands for 11 Bravo, which was my MOS in the Army. It was the MOS for the infantry.
All right, man. So make sure you guys check out Andrew's channel. Very cool. So Andrew, I know you're a leatherhead. So I'm going to guess your favorite Last Look scent is Live Deliciously.
I love Live Deliciously. My favorite is probably The Family. It's just like ever since I tried that, I've absolutely loved it. But I love Live Deliciously. That is one of my favorite body washes to use, like especially during the day. In the morning, my favorite is Black Lodge because it just starts you on your day.
Oh,
and then when I get off work and I shower after work, I use Live Deliciously.
Right on. So when we hooked up with Michael, he was kind enough to send us at the time, his whole spread, which was awesome. It was so hard for me to pick my favorite. And at the time, I was not a coffee fan at all. And I feel like Black Lodge turned that page for me. That black coffee, is it cherry pie, Michael? Right?
Yep.
You cannot beat that. I mean, it is a totally different spin on coffee.
So I did a review for it a few months ago, and so when I was in the Army, I was stationed in Washington, which is where the Twin Peaks, the TV series is based on. That's where it's based at. And I remember when I smelled Black Lodge, I remember there was a video reaction for it. Michael sent it to me without even knowing about it, and I did an unboxing. I was reading off the letter, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm the first person to try this. Nice." But
awesome.
it made me it was just like walking into a cafe in Washington. They're big on coffee, they're big on pie. The mountains and forests everywhere. And it was just like he nailed that scent. It just smelled like Washington. It took me back on memory lane. And what's funny is the series that's based off. It's there's a mountain in the introduction called Mount Si. I've been to that mountain multiple times.
Wow,
really?
It's just small world.
Wow,
that's really cool. Wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
the show,
and like Steve says, seriously, thank you so much for your services. We know Veterans Day is next week, so a very happy early Veterans Day to you, and appreciate you and everyone else that's doing what they're doing out there for us to be able to do what we're doing right now. So appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you.
So I was just gonna say, I think out of all the scents, I'll tell you, Below the Line or the Law, excuse me, is close, but The Family, which is inspired by the Godfather, is spot on. I honestly, if someone didn't tell me the movie and they were just like, smell this, I would be like, is it The Godfather? I swear. It is that spot on. I love the scent profile isn't even me. I'm not a big cigar, not a big like cinnamon-ish kind of guy, but I love that scent. Absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
the cigar's not overpowering or anything. It's just light and fresh and sweet with that orange in there. I'm not a big orange fan, but he just killed it with that scent.
Right.
Yeah, Michael Payton, I had to wear the Mamba Dixon shirt. I had to wear the LA colors tonight. I wonder why. So absolutely had to do it. But thank you. I'm addicted to these Dixon flannels now. Almost as much as I'm addicted to beard products. So my wallet is about to take a major hit.
Yeah, all I see online about Dixon is coming from you, Joe. So I think it's time they're paying you some spokesperson fees.
It's funny because I started, so I have 2 of them now, and I posted the first one, and the next thing you know, I saw like 5 other dudes like a week later post like the same post with the exact same flannel. I'm like, oh, I started something.
Yeah, that's not coincidence. That's your sheer style.
Yeah, but Gary from Chesapeake, he's been raving about Dixon flannels for a while now, I guess. Yeah. So I can't claim ownership as that I started the trend. I think he's been talking about it for a while. So yeah, but I had to go with the Mamba colors today.
Yeah. So. Well, thank you, Eric.
Yeah, I'm The Family and What the Cusps for me. Now Below the Law is up there. Ringing Bells is something unique because you get that. You want to talk about unique leather? You get the leather of the gloves, but that canvas smell is something else. It's so cool.
Well, there's leather, and then there's ringing bells. Leather, in my opinion, leather's never been used that way before. Which is really cool. But I'll tell you, I still say my favorite is ginger ale.
It's a good one. He nailed it.
That one. So, Michael, what is your number one seller? We've never had this conversation.
Well, yeah, we haven't. And it's fascinating to me because it really fluctuates. And a lot of the top sellers will change. And it seems like, I don't know if this is pure coincidence or if there's something going on here that I just don't know. But sometimes for 3 to 6 weeks, something will just sell far more than anything else. And then sometimes something else will come and kind of dethrone that. But I've been really thrilled that What the Cuss has actually, in the past 5 or 6 months, that's definitely been our best seller, which to me is fascinating for a couple of reasons. Because for one thing, I think among all of the movies and shows that all my scents have been inspired by, I think that Fantastic Mr. Fox is maybe the least high. It's the lowest profile, maybe the least seen by the general population or the general people that these products have gotten out in front of. So that's interesting to me to see people buy that and respond to that, whether or not they know the film. And it's also interesting to me because among all the scents, that had the slowest start to catch on. That one was a very slow seller in the beginning, and after several months, it became far and away the biggest seller.
Wow.
And then lastly, what's interesting to me about that is that the two most divisive scents, the most polarizing love 'em or hate 'em scents, actually happen to be our two best sellers, which is What the Cuss and Black Lodge.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So J. Cruz, defined beer company. They have a lot of good different scents, and I know probably Devin, if he's still hanging around, could probably answer that for you. But I know for us, Lemon Delight is absolutely amazing by them, and I really enjoyed the 1626.
Distinguished Caballero here.
Okay. Yep.
I don't even remember the name. I love their barbershop. Which one was that called?
Psychobilly Quiff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
My brother Steve here is making a good point. What the Cuss is so deceiving from out of the bottle to into beard. You think it's going to be super sweet in beard. To me, it's not. It's very medium as far as the sweetness goes compared to reading the scent profile. So I'm with him on that one.
Yeah, I'd agree there too. I'm really pleased with the way that that scent kind of will morph over time when you wear that. But I agree.
One of the coolest ingredients ever.
Yeah, thank you. In bottle,
back pine cone.
What's? Oh yeah, and that's something I love doing. Like not just having inspiration from movies, but throwing in little references here and there when I can is something that's really fun. Technically, the scent in the scents that make up a burning whack-bat pine cone are wood smoke and pine scents. Yeah, Stephen, I agree with you there, and that's a lot of the feedback we're getting. It's interesting to me because I think that there's 3 layers of people's reaction to the scent. A lot of times people will respond to the profile that they read and have an opinion about whether or not they like it. Then they'll open the bottle, they'll smell it, and be like, ooh, this is different than I thought it would be. It tends to be even sweeter and a bit fruitier than I thought. And then once they put it in beard, they say, oh, it's not as sweet as it smelled in bottle. It's more woodsy and a little bit more it's more like wood and pine and slight smoke. And so it's fun to watch people's reactions and how they phase over time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, Pete, that's so awesome.
Thank you, man.
That's so awesome to hear, man. We that's why we love doing this. We want you guys to enjoy the products that we enjoy on a regular basis. And we're very proud of that Dignified Cousins collab with Beards Dignified. We absolutely love it. And then of course, Below the Law. Got to take advantage of this awesome deal we got going on tonight, and just the fact that it's just another genius and amazing scent by Michael. So,
Thank you.
Two different spectrums too, Pete. Our collab is I would call it loud. We wanted our first collab to be just a flat out combination of all of our favorite scents. It's all over the place, and then Below the Law is more refined. It's more subtle. So enjoy. Let us know, Pete, what you think of both of them.
Yeah. And we got Ken, Bluegrass Bearded himself.
Hey, what's up, Ken?
What is going on?
Welcome.
And if you haven't seen, Kyle and I will have the privilege of being on Bluegrass Bearded's channel this upcoming Monday at 7:00 p.m. that we are so stoked to be a part of.
Man,
so definitely look out for that.
This Monday's the 9th already, gents. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
I know.
It's wild. I can't even believe that 2020 is almost over. I say this every year, so I don't even know why I'm saying this.
Right.
But
This is
come
like-
November of every year, I'm like, oh my goodness, the year's almost over. It was just January.
Yeah, and despite all the craziness that's been going on this year, like, I mean, I could probably say I'm looking forward to probably 2020 being done and over with. But I mean, there's, it's still crazy how fast time flies. And, as crazy as this year was, I'm still trying to appreciate, the time that that we do have left until we hit another new year. Because, we never expected 2020 to be like this. And, we can only hope that 2021 brings a better year, but never know.
Mm-hmm. So. Right. I've always felt like the idea of measuring our lives in the calendar year is so arbitrary and weird. And we make New Year's resolutions, and there's so much hope and anticipation and optimism in January, and then it's interesting to see who holds on to that hope come November, and who's like, oh, I'm ready for next January already.
Right.
Well, you both wear a flannel for the stream. I'll have a flannel on. I'll rock out a flannel. Kyle, do you own any flannels?
I do not own a flannel. No. My dad is a meat and potatoes guy, and he wore a flannel every single day of me growing up. So I'm flanneled out. I like them. I'm flanneled out.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Did you avoid flannel because it was your dad's? Like, I know there's so many things in my life where it's like, I won't do that. Like, that's what my parents like. And now every year I accumulate these things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this, like a big one in my life in the past several years is liking Bruce Springsteen.
Nice.
Because I grew up in New Jersey, and so basically all that was playing in our house was Bruce Springsteen my whole life. So I shunned him until a few years ago. And I'm like, oh, this is good music.
Have you seen those progressive commercials where they're like, it's about like not being.
I love them. Yes.
Yes, we're not being like your parents. I swear to God, I laugh at those commercials every time I see him. When he's like, we see it. We see it.
It's blue. There's blue. It's the only commercial that I turn up the volume for.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that commercial.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah. Progressive has either some of the best commercials or some of the worst. I'm not a big Flow person. So if Flow's in it, I can't stand the commercial and I'll mute it. But any other commercial, I'll turn it up. And those commercials never get old.
Same.
Yeah. So Pete has a good question, and I'm sure this is probably not an easy one for you.
This is gonna be good.
It's not at all. It's not an easy question. I'm just gonna have to answer it and feel good about it, even though tonight, as soon as we finish the stream, I'll be like, oh my, I'll think of my real answer later, and then I'll message you when I do think of it. But for right now,
the real answer is without thinking about it.
Right. So,
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. It's not my favorite. All right, my favorite. Okay, so I don't know if this is my favorite movie, but there is a movie. It's actually a duology. It's two films that were made all as one piece, and they were kind of just cut in half, somewhat arbitrarily, somewhat because they're both 3.5 hours long, and it's just hard to. You can't put a 7-hour movie in the theaters, and no one's gonna come watch it, and no one wants to distribute it. But it's really all one piece. It's all one artistic cinematic thing. It's a film called The Emigrants and the New Land. That is one of my favorite films by far. And I also recommend it because it's very underseen, under-acknowledged. It's largely unknown to a lot of people.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a great film. It was made in 1972. And it stars Max von Sydow and Liv Ullmann, who are both Swedish and Norwegian actors that were actually superstars in their own right in Europe and that bled over into the United States. They were common collaborators with one of the great filmmakers of all time, Ingmar Bergman. But even if you haven't seen a lot of these older films, they lived long and worked a lot. So you'd recognize these people because they were in hundreds of things. Max von Sydow was actually in Game of Thrones and Star Wars, and people recognize him whether it was a role from his 20s or a role from his 80s. He unfortunately just died within the past year. But The Emigrants and the New Land, it's a very simple story. It's about a Swedish family who experiences hardship and famine in the 1800s. And so they make the very difficult decision to pack up their whole family and get on a boat, travel across the Atlantic, and start a new life in America, sight unseen, knowing nothing, only having heard that there's this place called America, and it's a place where some people take the opportunity to start a new life. And this film, over the course of 7 hours, it touches every single important topic from love, death, religion, hope, fear, birth, life. It encompasses every major theme that life is all about. And it does it on a scale that's small. It's within a nuclear family unit, but the proportion of the story that family travels through is epic in the same way that Lord of the Rings and Star Wars are epic. You get lost in it. It's quiet but epic. Those films I'd recommend to anyone. The Emigrants and the New Land.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll have to check those out. Now, those don't sound, and I know I'm with Kyle. I haven't, heard of them before. And I don't know if maybe it's just a case of me and Kyle living under a rock or something, but they sound like they're hard movies to come across. How did you come across them?
Eric, yeah, he asked if it's on Netflix or Prime.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not. I haven't seen them on Netflix or Prime or Hulu. I came across them because, and Joe, a point that you just brought up is something that I find fascinating, where it's the people who tend to love films that voraciously try to find new ones. And the more you expand your knowledge of what's available, the more you realize there's so much more than you even conceived was out there. So I'm very against the idea of expecting that someone would have seen a movie or have found it, even if it's something like The Godfather or like Lord of the Rings. I'm very much against the idea of you haven't seen that, where have you been? Totally. I don't like when people say stuff like that. And I love finding new movies that I haven't. And that's why a lot of times I will recommend movies like this, where I've sensed that not a lot of people have found them, and let me help these movies find new eyes.
Right.
So I haven't seen these in the more common and widely available formats like Netflix and Amazon. I came across these films from the Criterion Collection. And for people who don't know what the Criterion Collection is, it's simply a film distribution company that specializes and focuses on creating the highest artistic level experience of a film. They do high quality 4K restorations, right, from the master reels, and then they package that with tons of specials and exclusives. Sometimes they'll produce new content like companion tracks and director commentary, or they'll create brand new featurettes to accompany these films. And then they package them in the highest quality Blu-rays and DVDs with full artistic boxing. The whole thing's kind of like an experience. And every month they put out 5 or 6 new ones. Right now they have more than 1,000 releases. But people who really like movies, if you're aware of the Criterion Collection, in general, you know that it's just a stamp of approval for quality in terms of what has lasted, what has made its mark in artistic cinematic history. So if you're aware of the Criterion Collection, it's marked on the spines. Sometimes people don't know it, or they're not familiar with the brand Criterion, and they'll look at their DVD collection, and then they'll notice on the spines, oh yeah, this, and this, I have some Criterion Collections in my own personal collection. So that's the stamp of approval, and I'll watch anything that's available from them. And this is the movie, The Emigrants and the New Land. This is something I found because it was available from Criterion.
Nice.
So is the total movie 7 hours, or are you saying they split it because it was 7 hours? Going back.
So technically speaking, they're 2 separate titles.
Okay.
And they're each about 3.5 or 3 hours, 40 minutes. But as a work of cinema, the director wrote and filmed it all together in one story with no elapsed time. There wasn't even like a differentiation when they were filming, like this is the first movie and this is the second movie. It's all one piece. And in fact, if you buy it, if you buy the Criterion Collection DVD or Blu-ray, they're sold together. It's an automatic box set. You can't buy these movies separately. It's one experience. They're technically two films with two different titles. They came out at the same time, and it's one piece of
Do
cinema.
you know what like the average price of it is?
Criterion Collection films are typically a little bit pricier than your average Blu-ray. If you have any, if you touch them and feel them and look at them, you'll understand, why, because the quality of them, both in the restoration of the films and also in the packaging, the supplementary material, you'll know they're a bit pricier. Also, they do a lot of box sets. Like this, for instance, is 2 movies, but they also have like complete Ingmar Bergman box set. Where last year they did 100 years of Olympic films. It's like a huge box set with dozens of discs in it. They're pricier, but a lot of collectors, people who are into them, collect them a lot. And there's usually about twice a year, Barnes and Noble, I guess they do some sort of partnership with Criterion. They do a 50% off sale. And that's when everyone waits to buy them. So a lot of people will sign up for the Barnes and Noble email list and just wait, every few months until they announce their 50% off sale. And then they'll snatch up a dozen of them.
Very good.
What's up, Beta? And I know Boston Bearded hopped in here. And Pete, I know you.
Yeah, he was asking about Dexter.
I know you asked this to Michael, but the answer for me is yes. I love that.
I've never seen it. It's on my list.
Dexter. I won't say anything on how about like the ending or anything like that. But overall, one of my favorite shows. And they're supposed to be doing like some kind of like maybe one limited episode reboot of it, I think.
But yeah, that's fascinating. I haven't heard about any talks about that. I've only seen the pilot episode of Dexter, and I really enjoyed it. Sometimes if I'm really curious about a show, but I know that I can't get to it, sometimes I'll satiate my curiosity and anticipation by watching the pilot episode, the first episode, and then I'll really make a decision. Do I need this in my life right now? Can I put off the things I'm watching right now, or can I wait, or should I not even bother in general? And that was one that I watched years ago that it's on my get to list, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But actually, I think somewhat similarly, because I've only seen the one episode, so I don't know, but I have a general idea of what Dexter's about. Coincidentally, I just started watching Hannibal, and I'm really enjoying that.
Good.
Actually just finished the first season and just a few episodes into season 2, and I'm liking that. Very violent and dark and serial killer-ish. So in that sense, I think it's similar to Dexter.
That's a Prime show, I believe.
I'm watching it on Hulu, but I know that it was on a cable network, Showtime or Starz. It was on a network.
I think originally it was on Fox, and then I think they discontinued it. But I think somebody. Maybe I think somebody picked it up, and it might have been Hulu or something.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about. It was on a network. It got canceled actually, to the dismay of a lot of its fans, because I don't think it had a large fan base, but it had a very
passionate one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it got canceled, but Hulu picked it up for streaming rights. And I think part of the agreement was the option to produce more seasons or episodes. And I don't know if they were doing that or not.
Yeah, and I think they upped that like violence and stuff that you were talking about on it, because obviously, when you release like a show on Fox, you're limited on that kind of stuff. And I think like they even like upped it when it came to that too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
something I've noticed in the show is that they've done that, exactly what you're saying. Even within the first season, like there was a distinct increase in the violence. Like you're watching episode 1, 2, and 3, and then after that, it got real dark and real graphic. I personally don't mind that kind of stuff. I kind of enjoy it.
Right up my alley.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, Bearded Hillbilly, what is my favorite scent that I have?
That's a tough one, huh?
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I think, though, if you pressed me to answer, I'd have to say it's probably Black Lodge.
It's a great one.
I really like coffee scents, and I really like woodsy scents. And I might be partial because Twin Peaks is my favorite dramatic series.
Nice.
But I really like Black Lodge.
Nice.
Black Lodge is my favorite butter for overnight, which is almost weird because it's a coffee scent, but I just love it, man. It's soothing. I really enjoy it. Michael, one question for you. So I've thought about this before. I heard Swag say it, and especially for someone who's looking to first purchase with Last Looks. Sometimes and I have my opinion on this, but I want to hear what you have to say first. Some people say that the butter has more hold than the balm. Do you agree? And was that in your intention?
That wasn't my intention, but that's actually consistent with some feedback I've gotten. And yeah, the butter's been really popular. And I think that a lot of people that like to use a balm, sometimes they'll opt just to use my butter instead of a balm. It does have hold. So my company, I've said this in the past, but we haven't mentioned it on this stream. So for anyone who's not familiar with Last Looks, we're a totally plant-based company. That's something that was important to me, not just because I moved to LA and became,
green,
whatever, yeah, right. I've been vegan for a long time, about 13, almost 14 years. And that's just something that's important to me for my own personal ethics. And I don't like to even talk about it because I'm personally absolutely against proselytizing in kind of any nature. And I believe to each their own, and you got to make choices that you want, the way that you want to live. So I don't harp on it too much, but for my personal choice, I believe that every sentient being has a life, and it's not. I don't want to interfere with other beings' lives. It's just not what I want to personally do. Right. So that's why I don't eat animals or use animal products. But again, like I said, I'm totally anti-judgment. I feel like it needs to be said because there are so many annoying vegans in the world. I gotta make up for that a little bit. But hey, Dan, thanks for coming.
Hey, what's up, Dan?
What is going on, Dan? And yeah, you're absolutely right. It is time to party. Absolutely.
So Kyle, to just get back to your question about the balm, my balms, that all being said, that was all pretext for this. My balms don't have beeswax in them because in line with the company values, we don't use any animal products. And so therefore we don't use beeswax. We use a plant-based wax called candelilla wax. It comes from the candelilla plant. And that gets a very similar hold to beeswax. It's different because every single type of wax is different. They're similar and they're different in their own ways. Candelilla wax has pretty decent hold, but where it's different than beeswax is it doesn't have like a sticky tackiness that beeswax has. Right. A lot of times beeswax has like almost like a rubbery tack. Mm-hmm.
Strong defined tack for sure.
Right. So our balms, they're not tacky. It's a light to medium weight hold, but they're not necessarily tacky in the same way that that beeswax is. And our butters actually, funnily enough, I have heard people describe them as a bit tackier because our beard butters, they're poured butters, not whipped. It's more of a full body butter, and they have a high volume of shea butter in them. And so that provides hold. So sometimes people choose to forego a balm. I know that's actually probably it seems in my perspective, increasingly more common that some people are foregoing balm just in general, but also among my products, a lot of people have gotten good results with oil and my butter.
Yeah, it's a good point. So I disagree with that. I think the balm does have more hold. I can tell whatever you're using for a wax, there's more of it in there, mainly because the butter is super creamy. I think people overlook how dense your butter is and how creamy it is, but you really need to focus on how does it melt down in your hand. because your balm is going to provide that more heaviness to your beard compared to your butter, and that's where the big difference lies. So I think people scoop out your butter, feel how dense and creamy it is, and go, "Oh, the balm isn't this heavy." But what you got to do is really compare it in your beard. So, but at the same time, too, every beard is different.
Yeah,
I personally still like balm. I use balm at least once or twice a week, and I love your balm. I like that it's a true medium with good hold. It does what I need it to do. If I'm having a bad day, I'll get it all the way in there. But if I just put it over the top, it's going to hold my flyaways down all day. So that's what I look for in a balm. So.
Yeah. So before we get to our next giveaway, Andrew, what do you think of that with the butter and with the balm?
Yeah, I definitely think at least for me, the balm has more hold. I'm a balm guy. I love using balms. I always buy balms. And so I definitely prefer the balms. And yeah, I'd say the balms have more hold than the butter from my experience personally.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yep. All right. So Michael, what do you think of our second giveaway?
Let's do it.
All right. What are you thinking for this one?
I'm kind of feeling winner's choice again for a beard oil. How's that sound to you guys?
Sounds good to me.
All good here.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do winner's choice. We'll do random number again.
Are we ever going to do movie trivia since it's Last Looks?
Oh yeah, we might have. Well, how about we do a movie trivia for the last one? So Michael, no pressure.
That'll be good.
But how about the last giveaway? We do something.
We can. I'm down with that. That sounds fun to me. Although me as someone who enjoys being in watching streams, trivia stresses me out because it's like I don't know. I personally like to I like to rely on luck rather than skill or knowledge because I'm not well that probably just says a lot about me really.
Bomb chicka bomb bomb, Dan says. Absolutely.
That's what I've been laughing at for the last 30 seconds, Dan.
Bomb chicka bomb bomb.
Yeah.
Where was Gondor when the Westfold fell?
So we're gonna pick a number this time.
Dan's favorite movie.
Yeah.
I think he said before.
Remember the Titans is I don't think I've ever seen a bad Denzel movie. I mean, the guy's brilliant.
Great.
He is unbelievable.
My favorite Denzel movie, and it's so underrated, John Q.
Oh,
I love John Q.
Unbelievable.
I watched it about 3 times, but the last time I watched it, I was maybe like 12, but I loved it. And just in the past year, I went back and looked at some reviews because I'm like, did this hold up? Should I rewatch this? And I was reading a lot of people trashing it online.
I know.
And the antagonistic part of me wants to be like, I'm going to watch it and I'm going to like it. Like screw these people. But I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't watch it and just let it stay in the upper echelon of my mind there.
I'm sorry.
I like John.
You said you haven't seen John Q? I'm sorry.
I've seen it 3 times, but never since I've been 12 years old. It was all like in my childhood.
Yeah, when he's on the phone with his son when he's ready to commit suicide.
Dude, don't spoil anything.
What did I spoil? I didn't say anything. That led to nothing.
Well, I mean,
it's a common
when he's about to do this.
Films. Yeah,
right. It's a common plot point.
Right. Here's something that I really love in films. I love drama films. I love high tension dramas. And I always believe that the best characters are people who are either desperate or obsessed. And the very best characters are people who are both at the same time. And so John Q falls into that. He's desperate for his son to survive, and he's obsessed with getting his son medical help at any price.
The Mick and Ryan live show. No, and that will never happen.
Joe, do you like peanut butter? Yeah, that's hilarious. This is funny. Dan's on a roll tonight. Do you remember how many times you watched a movie when you were a preteen? Goodness, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Dan, remember the Titans? I had a teacher in high school in sophomore year who would play that. Looking back, it makes me question their commitment to teaching. But at the time, I loved it. They would play that movie once a week. And so it would be a random day of the week, but we would go in there into class thinking like, are we going to learn something today? Or are we going to watch Remember the Titans? So, and also since the classes were shorter than the length of a feature film, they would stop it and then they would pick it up the next class. They would resume where we left it off. And so I couldn't, and I still don't know if it was like kind of negligence or laziness on their part, or if they were really passionate about it. And actually maybe the best high school teachers are just really passionate about Remember the Titans.
Absolutely. We
There it is.
me and Kyle stand on our cars and we yell King Kong ain't got nothing on us, because no haters will ever have anything on us. Absolutely. Haters.
It's extremely tough.
Yeah.
But I would have to say my favorite Denzel movie is Training Day, but that's tough. It's either Training Day or Remember the Titans. But hey, Brad, my brother in there said Philadelphia. Philadelphia is an underrated Denzel / Tom Hanks movie.
I've actually never seen that.
A lot of people haven't.
But I know exactly what it is. I've never sat down and gave it the time that it probably deserves. And then we got Daniel and Everett. He Got Game was awesome.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I remember about He Got Game, and I don't know why. I just found it so funny, just because it's Denzel when he is staying at the hotel and the detectives kind of keep an eye on him, and he goes across the street to meet the detectives at the Nathan stand, and he apparently knows the guy working there, and just to say his name's like Steve, I don't know, and he's like, Steve, hook me up with one of them orange joints, and I'm like, what? And he wants like an orange pop or soda, excuse me, and I don't know why. Like Denzel he does that to you. He's that good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Something that fascinates me from an actor's perspective is how there are actors out there who are consistently good, and not just good, but you know that they're going to be world class, and Denzel is obviously one of them. Yeah. And that fascinates me because I often wonder, like, to be good at acting, you put a lot of time and effort into it, like a lot of crafts that people would, commit themselves to. But I wonder how someone can be so consistently good at being other people to a degree that's so realistic and believable. Mm-hmm. Like, is that something innate? Is there just like a raw talent involved? I wonder that a lot. And sometimes I'll think of people. I've actually been rewatching a ton of Jake Gyllenhaal movies the past few months because he's one of my favorite of his generation.
How good is Nightcrawler?
So good.
See, I haven't seen it, but I've heard bad things, but I got to see it for myself. I've heard
there's no bad thing.
Nightcrawler is such a fun movie, and the concept it's one of those it's hard to believe that no one has ever came up with anything like that beforehand, because it's one of those, like, when I watch them, like, how the heck has no one ever come up with something like this before? And it's such a fun, different kind of rush.
Yeah, it's executed perfectly at every level, from screenplay to acting to directing. I'm gonna watch it tonight. It's so good. He's so good, and
man, it's so fun.
Yeah. Something that fascinates me about Jake Gyllenhaal, and it kind of was related to something I was just saying. I wonder often if there's an innate natural ability that some people have, like Denzel, or if it's something that they put a lot of effort into, or if it's a combination of both. I've watched a lot of interviews with Jake Gyllenhaal because I'm fascinated by him, and I want to get to know how he has such a command of his craft. And something that I've learned from interviews is that he says all roles start in the eyes. And when he develops a character, in a metaphorical sense, he's like, well, I'm living in their body, so I'm seeing through their eyes. But then he said, as an actor's point of view, he says, like, every person's eyes are different, not just color and shape and obvious things like that, but the way that they look, and even if, for instance, if you have someone that someone that you're close to, you can see changes in them through their eyes, things even like subtle shifts in mood and things like that. And so he puts a lot of consideration into developing who a character is through their eyes. And Nightcrawler and Prisoners, those are two that are just like
Prisoners.
Yeah,
he plays a really good detective in there like that. I don't want to say that typical like disinterested, smug type detective, but then you really start to get the emotions that come out throughout the movie with him.
Right.
And then so many people talking about Southpaw, unbelievable boxing movie for sure. And the emotional roller coaster that movie is, it's so much more than just a boxing movie. And that hits home being, like if you guys have seen the movie, being a children's service worker that I am, you'll know what I'm talking about, being on that side of it and seeing what Jake had to do as a father, and the things that he had to go through too. So that's a great one. So much more than a boxing movie, but it's good. And we have a beer talk wife in the house. What's up, baby?
We got a sighting.
We got a sighting. Everybody say hello to Steph, and she is a big fan of Prisoners. I know she found when she was watching Southpaw. I know every time Jake Gyllenhaal had his shirt off, I was non-existent to this woman.
I don't know why your stomachs look identical.
Dude, I tell her that all the time. I'm like, what are you talking about? You got Southpaw every single day of your life. But
you gotta embrace, not you, anyone. You gotta embrace the beard belly. Like I'm walking to the mailbox, no shirt. Like, what's up, ladies?
Bobby, Casey, you mentioned something about Nightcrawler, about how Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler, he plays a sociopath, and he does it so well that it's truly disturbing to watch. Something that fascinates me that I've heard him say, Jake Gyllenhaal say in an interview, which really blew my mind, was that he said he read the script, and something that he liked as an actor reading the script, because you don't have a perception because it's only words on a page. He was reading it, and he thought every single thing that this guy says is pretty good advice. Like you're reading it, and if you just read that, if it were on a motivational poster, or if someone said that to you, someone with your best interest in mind, you'd be like, thank you. That's actually really helpful, good advice. But when that guy says it, it's highly disturbing. And he said he spent a lot of effort making that character so that he could actually be so sick that he could twist these good words into making them creepy.
Yeah, Jake and Leo are so underrated because they're like the bubblegum, cute playboy type of guys, but their talent can be so underrated. Right. It's unbelievable. Right.
Absolutely. That's exactly how me and Kyle describe our channel and us. Hey,
real quick, guys.
I want to continue this conversation, but I know there's been a lot of people waiting. We announced our second giveaway.
Yeah, let's do this giveaway really quick.
Like a decade ago. So, but yeah, we knew we were gonna be talking movies because we always do, and I'm excited. But yeah, let's do our second giveaway. And we were talking about an oil of their choice again. Or I know we were talking like butters and balms. Do we want to change like a butter maybe?
Yeah. Let's do that.
So product, oil, butter, balm of their choice, scent of their choice.
Wait, maybe I misunderstood. Were you saying a trio or
No.
Any product.
You can pick one product, an oil, a balm, or a butter, and then scent of their choice.
Let's do that.
All right. Cool. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and do a random number here. Please only enter once. Wait till I say go. Go ahead and give me a number 1 through 12. Go ahead and go. 1 through 12.
Hey, guys, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, no problem, Andy.
Right. Yeah, Leo is amazing. I really felt like when Wolf of Wall Street came out, it was. I mean, he was just a shoo-in for Best Actor Academy Award. He got robbed that year. He got it his next go around with Revenant, which he deserved it in that one as well. But I think that Wolf of Wall Street, like in terms of if you're deciding on like a best actor, his performance was so dynamic. It was comedic and dramatic, and he's just world class. Like he's a master. He's a master. He got robbed on that one. And I actually did just recently rewatch Dallas Buyers Club a couple of months ago.
Guys, go ahead and stop. We got a winner. Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
And that was McConaughey got Dallas Buyers Club Best Actor for that. I mean, how can you really with some of the actors? Yeah, right.
He's awesome. He's another one.
Yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street is that movie that hit like that 3-hour mark, and there was not a second of those 3 hours that I was not entertained, that I was not emotionally invested.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a top 5 for me.
It had everything. I laughed some of the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie, and then there are just some parts where I'm like, wow, and my mood just kind of like dropped, and then it would get kind of picked back up and stuff. It was just, yeah.
All right, guys. So our winner, before the comments keep coming in and I keep losing this, give me 1 second. I've been waiting to highlight it. All right, guys, let's show some love for Kinsman McKay with the 11 bomb. Nice. Our winner. Congrats, brother.
Congrats, Kinsman.
So Kinsman, go ahead and get a hold of us. Go ahead and get a hold of Last Looks Michael, of course, on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, our email is in every single one of our videos. Hit us with your address. You can choose a product, one product, oil, ball, and butter, and then a scent of your choice. If you need any help or have any questions, Michael's here. We're here. But congratulations, my man. You are welcome, brother. I think this is your first win on our channel, so congrats. Love spreading the wealth. And I'll say
some love. Yeah, no, go for it.
Sorry. I was going to say our very first winner ever was this man right here. Do you remember that, Joe?
Yes.
Our first giveaway ever was Brad.
I'm trying to think of the company.
The blue box.
Oh,
Baruch Royal.
Yes, Baruch Royal.
I won kind of like the beginner's box. Yeah. Yep, there's our email if you're not on Instagram. So just hit us with your address, your product, and your scent. If you're looking for something way out of left field, go with a ginger ale oil.
Yeah, Dan, his Joe Rogan's podcast in general is amazing. He always has some great guests and some great conversations. I got to check out that one. I loved his with Mike Tyson a few weeks back. And as he's prepping for his fight against Roy Jones Jr., that I'm really, really excited for. As much as I love UFC, I'm still a diehard boxing fan, just because growing up with my dad, watching all the Mike Tyson pay-per-views and things like that, I'm still a boxing guy first, and I'm really, really excited for that nostalgia of the fight that's going to happen. So, definitely, Dan. Joe Rogan is probably the best podcaster out there right now, for sure.
I know. I love podcasts. I've gotten into them huge, and I've never heard an episode of Joe Rogan. Man, I got to subscribe, and I gotta get on it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Joe Rogan. I haven't heard in the past 3 months. I've only caught a few, so I'm like backtracked, and I get stressed out trying to I know I'll get to them. But when you're looking at 3 to 4 hour long episodes, it gets overwhelming. I didn't know that Mike Tyson was on again, but I caught him the first time he was on, I think maybe a year ago. And that was fascinating. In fact, it made such an impression on me, the way that Mike Tyson had such a deep level of introspection and self-reflection on who he is and how he became that way. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
You got to check out this newest one, because you're going to be equally impressed with just the kind of person Mike Tyson has really developed to be. He's one of those individuals that's had a roller coaster of a life himself, as you can imagine, and his rebound seems to be really on the upward and stuff. And Joe Rogan just does such a good job of bringing that out of people and getting deep with them and stuff. So,
hey, Josh.
Welcome. Hey, Josh, welcome. Thanks for coming.
I'm with you. There's a podcast I really enjoy. It's a political podcast, and each episode is about 2 to 3 hours, and I'm ready to give up on it. There's a lot to be said for just picking a length and sticking to it, even for these streams. I'll never forget when we were picking a DJ for our wedding, and he said, cut it off when people are still having fun. Don't let people trickle out and be like, all right, I'm getting bored. Let's leave. And, you know what I mean? There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it, man.
I see Bobby's comment about Matthew McConaughey's book. And he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I did catch that one. Maybe Joe Rogan does so many podcasts. Maybe I hear more than I actually just said, because I did catch that one. That was fascinating to me. I love Matthew McConaughey as an actor. I think he's so talented, and his dedication is really inspiring. Hearing him on that episode, I really enjoyed it. But I was just thinking the other day, I wonder if he's tiresome to be around in real life, because he's such a heightened character, and everything he said, like every phrase is a catchphrase, and he's got like this kind of like this witty introspection, and it was so fun. But I was wondering, like, if his wife and children are just like, I'm done with this guy's like witty kind of deepness. But I loved it. I loved listening to him. I could listen to him if he did his own podcast. That would be fun.
Yeah, Dan, that went right over my head too. But I haven't listened to the McConaughey podcast though.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey. I did hear that one.
Yeah, I didn't. I figured you guys knew, so I didn't ask him. Like, I'll just sit this one out.
No, I heard that. I really, really enjoyed that. I'm definitely going to read his book, because I'm fascinated by him and his life, and I like actor biographies and autobiographies. I tried to get it. I like the library. Believe it or not, you think Los Angeles has a reputation for maybe being a little not so intellectual, not so bookish. The library system here is incredible. There's actually over 75 branches of the public library just in Los Angeles, and
wow.
I get books online for like right through my phone, audiobooks and ebooks and stuff. And I put in a hold request for that book, for Matthew McConaughey's new book, and the wait time is like 40 weeks. So I might just end up buying. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
It's like 7 months, 8 months, something like that.
Yeah, Dan, I totally know what you mean. I would not know how to spell McConaughey if my life.
Right, I would just write at M, like Matt M, the actor, or I would just write all right.
Yeah, there you go. So, I remember when.
Look at Brad's comment. That's hilarious. We all had a different take on MM.
My man.
Yeah, I remember when I was a naive movie watcher, like just horror was like the only movies that I would watch, and my favorite McConaughey was one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres. He was in, like, one of his first roles, I think, was like a sequel to a Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Renee Zellweger, I think it was. It was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which was like the worst sequel out of like all of them. And but it's crazy, like, you watch a movie like that, and you have two amazing actors and actresses, Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey, and it's funny how that.
A good McConaughey movie, and it's a chick flick, and I'm not embarrassed because I enjoy it. But is Failure to Launch. It's him, Sarah Jessica Parker, Terry Bradshaw, and he plays like the 30-year-old who lives at home. The whole thing. Have you seen that one, Michael? I
haven't seen that one. I thought you were going to say How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which I have seen.
I don't think I've seen that.
I have seen that. Right. We'll have to watch the other one and get back to it. It's going to be weird sitting alone watching a chick flick.
But I'll tell you, he plays a obviously handsome guy, good job, normal life, but he chooses to live at home, and he's just brilliant in the movie. You're just, when you watch it, you just feel like you're there.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, Pete, True Detective. I think Pete, maybe you were the one who asked about my favorite movie and show. And I said my favorite show was Twin Peaks, but season 1 of True Detective, I think, is the greatest season of a TV show ever made. I'm obsessed. I love that show so much. I love like the dark nihilistic storylines. I like dark, gritty, violent things. I like detective stories, and I really love cosmic horror, like H.P. Lovecraft and M.R. James, and True Detective. That season 1 is my favorite season of a show. In 10 minutes, I'll say something else, like The Wire or something. But for right now, that's my favorite season of a show.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I will say this. My favorite all-time show is Breaking Bad. Like Joe said, Joe was begging me for years. Was it years? It was probably years.
It was over a year. I don't know about years, plural, but it was over a year. I'm like, you need to watch it. And then I would ask him, like, did you start Breaking Bad yet? And he'd be like, no, but I did start this. I'm like, will you stop and just watch it?
Yeah.
Like, and
the acting in that movie, the writing, it's just the show, but unbelievable. Bryan Cranston, how he never got a lead in a huge movie is beyond me. The guy's unbelievable.
He's incredible. And actually, going back to talking about actor biographies and memoirs, his was fantastic. One of my favorites. I think it's called A Life in Parts, but I might be mistaking that for a different actor's book. But his story is fascinating, and his memoir was really interesting because a lot of it dealt with his childhood and his relationship with his father and who he was as a young adult in his early 20s. And it was interesting because he didn't really find fame or success as an actor until later in his career. And there's kind of a general axiom you'll sometimes hear thrown around in Los Angeles, and people will joke about the age at which you get famous or become a celebrity. That's the age at which your emotional maturity is suspended for the rest of your life. I don't know if I necessarily personally believe that, but when you read a book like Bryan Cranston's memoir, someone who didn't get into like celebrity status until he was in his middle age, you really do see that he had a rich life. He's a normal guy who happens to be an amazing, one of the best.
He is. He seems like a very normal guy.
Yeah.
My all-time favorite sitcom, King of Queens. He plays the wacko neighbor, and he brings every episode. Oh, he's phenomenal.
Dude, that swimming pool episode, so funny.
Oh, God. So, man, I'll tell you. I will say one thing. I don't know if I've ever talked to anyone two things on this. The passion you have for movies. I feel like I could talk to Emerald Lagasse about cooking, and I won't get this much passion. And then the second thing is what?
Who did you say?
I said I feel like I could talk to Emerald about cooking and not get this much passion. Like every time I talk to Michael about movies. And the other thing is you always have a different view of like the movie, like in a good way, Like I'll be like, oh yeah, man, he killed it, and you'll break down like the characters, and I'm just like, wow.
Thank you. Well, I'm truly just obsessed, and I read a lot of interviews. I'm fascinated by interviews and memoirs. Something that's fascinating to me is hearing someone else describe themselves and their own points of view, because with the right I think we all innately kind of understand that there's the way someone is as they're seen from the people in their life, and then there's the way that someone is as they perceive themselves. And maybe the truest form of them is somewhere in the middle of that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm fascinated by learning more about the internal lives of these actors, because I've seen so many hours of them, and I'm playing different roles. And so I'm experiencing them for so many hours. And then you get to hear them describe their own inner workings. Mm-hmm. And then you got to kind of assume that it's somewhere between those two worlds.
There's my point in case right there. Case in point right there.
Right. Yeah, and it's awesome because you're, it's very hard to have two passions like what you have, and obviously you have it in the movies, film in general, and then obviously you have it in men's grooming and in your company, and that's just what's really impressive is that you're able to have two equal passions like that, and obviously combine them into Last Looks Grooming, which is awesome and very cool. Mm-hmm. And to be, dude, it's tough for me to consider myself well educated on one thing, and you're well educated on, these two things. That's
Thank awesome. You. I really appreciate the kind words. I'd have to disagree. Humbly, I'm definitely not. I don't feel like I'm particularly excellent at anything,
yes,
but I really appreciate it.
Andrew's like,
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Andrew's like, just be humble, say yes. That's it. So,
You know you're amazing.
Thank you.
Andrew, what are some of your favorite movies and shows and stuff?
Yeah, and start, if you don't mind, Andrew, start with like your topics. Like, what type of movies do you like? And then a couple of details or examples, if you don't mind.
For sure. Real quick, I want to apologize for being gone so long. I received a phone call that my uncle was found dead, and it is believed he committed suicide. So I was on the phone with my parents, and as y'all can imagine, my grandparents are a basket case because they lost a daughter to cancer a few years ago, and his wife had died of alcohol poisoning some years ago, and they think he may have either drunk himself to death or just,
Wow.
And so I was on the phone. I called my manager, let him know that I may be leaving work sooner than I anticipated. So we'd appreciate your thoughts and prayers. My grandmother's name is Patricia, and my grandfather's name is Thomas. So definitely appreciate it. But as far as movies go, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King Extended Special Edition is my all-time favorite movie. I love movies about like brokenness, a lot of times addictions, having to struggle with alcohol addiction myself. That's something that, I relate to. Being a veteran, war movies, I got to be careful with some movies I watch because, they can just trigger that, emotion where, you miss it. You want to get back in. You miss the brotherhood. You miss the way of life. It didn't matter how horrible life was. You had your guys to your left and your right, which is why I'm back here on the stream, because I was like, I'm not about to leave this stream because, when something like this happens, you need community. You need to surround yourself with other people,
Right.
Especially when you're an addict like I am, that addiction keeps creeping in, and just you got to surround yourself with other people. And so many amazing guys in here. Like back during the summer when I was having my struggles, Michael was texting me just about every single day. And so, appreciate guys like him, Dan, Eric, all these guys always reaching out to me. But so movies like Warrior, starring Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton. Have y'all seen that?
Not yet, but I like.
It's an MMA movie. It has a Nick Nolte. I love that movie. And that's probably my second favorite movie. I love, as far as war movies goes, I know everybody loves talking to veterans about this. Obviously, the D-Day scene of Saving Private Ryan, that is probably the realistic you're going to get as far as Hollywood will allow. Black Hawk Down had some like Hollywood in it, but, that's one of those movies like veterans have to be careful watching because you'll trigger those instincts in a heartbeat.
I recently had read about an organization that created a brand new veteran outreach support hotline specifically when that film came out, because it was so realistic that it was triggering a lot of memories and PTSD and people who had lived through and experienced similar wartime experiences. Yeah.
It was like in Saving Private Ryan, there were D-Day veterans who were watching the premiere and they were passing out, throwing up. They couldn't handle it. That's how realistic it was.
Wow.
And then one movie that it would have been my favorite movie of all time, and that was probably Lone Survivor. And then the ending of it was just like, what have y'all done? Because that scene at the very end, that didn't happen. I mean, yeah, they sent those guys to rescue them, but just like there was so much more and they missed out on it. And just like this could have been in the best movie, but. And then there's Hollywood in it as well, but.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that movie. I didn't know the real story of the ending. I just knew the gist, so wow.
And then I was just thinking of another. And then there's a movie, Fury, and the way they captured brotherhood, because I was in what's called a striker unit, which is like, one of the vehicles looks like a big giant frog. And so like them being a tank, like I felt that camaraderie, I felt that brotherhood, the way they joked around, the way they trolled each other, the way like what war does to you, we're just like, that's not a person, that's the enemy. It's just like, that's what happens. Mm-hmm. And like, it's one of those movies that just grips you. And then I love like Disney Pixar movies. I love Emperor's New Groove. The Outsiders was one of my favorite movies.
Took a sharp turn there.
Got to do something to tear up, right?
I love it, man. I love
Big Hero 6.
I love Disney Pixar, man. Dude, I love it. Up is such a good.
Right.
I love
Yes.
Up.
Yes.
I'm such a diehard Toy Story fan.
I'm embarrassed to say I've only seen the first one, and I love it. I got to see the rest of them.
Oh, Toy Story?
I've seen
Okay. Yeah, all four of them. Surprisingly, 4 was still really good too.
That's
but the
one
first
I haven't
8 are through the roof.
Yeah. Toy Story, some trivia. That was the first feature-length, fully CGI animated film that came out.
Wow.
Toy Story 1. I don't know, 1994, I think might have been the year.
I think Toy Story was the first movie I saw in theaters.
Really?
Either Toy Story or Bug's Life. I want to say Toy Story.
Wow.
That's awesome. I wish I remembered mine because I love to hear people's very first movie theater experience that they had, but I don't remember my own first movie.
Mine was Forrest Gump.
Nice.
That's good. That's a movie that
4, I think. I want to say.
you're old.
Yeah.
That's a movie that I hadn't seen until I was 19. And by the time I'd seen it, that was the movie that I'd heard about the most in my whole life. And it's funny now because 19 it seems like a long time ago in my life, but I remember like recognizing, man, I've made it this long and I haven't seen Forrest Gump. Like I don't feel like a normal person. That's a great film. And Emperor's New Groove is a film that I did see in theaters when I was a kid, and I loved it. And I love seeing that it seems to have a resurgence. Yeah. It seems to have a resurgence in popularity as of late. I've seen a lot of memes and references in the past year or two, which is so funny because when I was a kid and I saw that in the theaters, I absolutely loved it. Yeah. And for several years afterwards, throughout my childhood, I was always wondering, it didn't seem like one of the more popular films of its ilk, of its kind of genre. And that astounded me when I was a kid because it was one of my favorites.
Yeah. It definitely has a cult following.
Yeah, I've since heard that there was some sort of distribution issue that happened, or like some studio bureaucratic kind of drama that actually prevented that from like as wide a release as they wanted, or something like that. Something not looking to.
Wow,
that's one movie that I can probably quote word for word if I wanted to.
Wow. So this is kind of getting me antsy. I'm thinking maybe for these last couple giveaways, maybe Mike, you should come up with some movie trivia questions.
Oh, that stresses me out. This life is one. That really.
Lord of the Rings.
Really,
I have a good question.
Okay. Do it, please.
Do it. And Mike, what would you like to do for this third giveaway?
Concession series.
Okay, we're gonna Andrew. Andrew's on top.
Appreciate that, Andrew.
I think that's a good idea. You can pick any oil from the concession series.
Root beer all the way, or ginger ale.
It just went from your choice of concession series to you got to get root beer. No,
Right.
Perfect. I'm down for. I like winner's choice, but we could do winner's choice.
It's your company.
Let's do any choice in the concession series.
Okay. All right,
And
guys.
does that include the limited release ones, or just the ones that are the main lineup?
That'll include the limited release. In fact, I might have a couple of birthday cakes still around.
Yeah, really quick. Why don't you talk about those really quick so people know about the limited those limited ones, because those are brand new, and I know those aren't going to be around too much longer. Why don't you quickly talk about those?
Okay, so Last Looks, being a movie inspired company, we have two main lines of products. One we call the Cinema series, and those are scents that are unique to this world, like brand new scents that I make inspired by films, with the idea being like, if you were in the film, what would you be smelling?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Cinema series. But we also have the Concession series, and these are scents of things that exist already, that we all know, things that we love, and these are specifically things that you would experience in a movie theater. So we've got scents like cola, root beer, ginger ale, buttered popcorn. And then we just turned 1 year old. Last Looks is officially 1 year old as of a couple weeks ago. So throughout October, we actually introduced our two very first limited edition offerings that we've ever done. They were both in the concession series line. One of them was birthday cake, and that was only available during October. And then the other one is pumpkin caramel latte, and that is
nice.
Thank you. That's actually available until the end of November. And so that will be available for the end of the month, until the end of the month, and then that's going away. But we've had really good success with these limited edition scents, and I already had plans for several in the future. So now I know I'm probably going to be doing more, it'll be more common to have limited edition concession series scents, as well as standard catalog concession series scents. We'll be coming out with a handful of those in the next few months.
Can I put you on the spot here? And feel free to say no to what I'm about to ask. Are we gonna get some balms or especially butters in the cinema series, especially ginger ale
and root beer?
Yeah, that's okay. So that has always been the plan. Before I started the company, I knew that I wanted to have even all the concession series line available in balms and butters. When I first launched, I only made them available in oils purely for financial reasons. I was just personally investing everything into it, and I wanted to put more. I wanted to spend more on creating a full cinema series line. So I still plan on doing balms and butters for the concession series line. And in fact, the past couple weeks, I've really been thinking hard about that to try and maybe get them out for this holiday season, maybe even as early as Black Friday weekend. I might regret saying that, because I might have just set myself up for a massive major workload right now with designing and manufacturing and packaging. But yes, short answer, yes, we will have at the very least butters available in the concession series.
I'm just saying, Veterans Day is coming up. If you wanted to give me something, I'm just saying.
Noted.
My birthday was October 20th, so feel free.
Any other? Joe, do you have
in our 1 year anniversary is on the 17th of November, so.
And for you, Kyle, are there you have any noted?
Totally put you on the spot, but
yeah, right. Everything. It was National Something Day, whatever, yesterday. So let's do.
That'd be amazing as concession.
Yeah, I've been working on a Dr. Pepper scent and something that. Okay, so here's two more peeks behind the curtain, because I just gave up the plans to release balms and butters. Some things I've been working on. I really like the soda scents, and we've gotten a great reception to the soda scents. Noted, Eric. Oh my goodness, Andrew, what did you do to me?
You think you know this by now,
right? So something I really want to put out a Dr. Pepper scent, and I really want to put out a Mountain Dew scent, but I don't know how to name them, because I don't want to use brand names. And those two sodas in particular, they're actually universally known by their brand name, by the trademark.
Right.
And I don't know if I want to get like cute or cheeky with the punny kind of names, but I don't know what to call them, honestly. So, but that if I figure that out, or if anyone has recommendations,
that's a good point. Good question.
Let's have a contest in the Beard to Talk with Kyle and Joe Instagram.
Why don't you leave it up to the community? Do like an Instagram post and see if anybody could come up with like a best name. That's
a great idea.
Challenge accepted.
That's a great idea. Honestly, that's really good.
Because my mind is gonna start racing now. But yeah, dude, if you put up like a description on what you're thinking of the scent will be, and then let people's imaginations flow.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Dr. Pepper scent in beard oil. I've seen Mountain Dew, but I haven't seen Dr. Pepper, so that'd be awesome.
I think I've seen one, and I've seen one. Yeah.
Actually, Maximus, I think, is kidding, but Mountain Dude is actually a really good idea.
Mountain Dude, that's a good one.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
Hillbilly Holler, another good idea.
So yeah, we got the names flowing in.
Right. They're flowing. Something that's important to me for those ones is, since it's the concession series, and those aren't scents. I didn't create the scent of root beer, right? These are things that we all know. Something that's important to me is that the scent will be easily recognizable when you look at the name. You know,
Right.
I'd want someone to see the name and know this is going to be
That's
Dr.
tough.
Pepper.
Right.
Yeah. But even before that happens, I actually have a lot of concession series scents that are ready to go, whether they're going to be general
I know 2
catalog.
of them.
Yeah. So we got some coming out. Just to give some hints, we've got some more beverages coming out, hot and cold beverages. And we've got several different candies coming out. So
Any
this is
Sour
something-
Patch Kids? Any Sour Patch Kids?
yeah, I love Sour Patch Kids. That might be one of them.
Okay.
That might be
The
one.
thing with that though is exactly what I was saying before. I don't know what to call it.
Right.
Props to these brands, these candy companies, and these food and beverage companies that actually, like, you can't. The name and the product is so intertwined, you can't separate them.
Donald said the sweet one for Dr. Pepper because that's kind of like its nickname. That might be trade. It could be.
Yeah.
So, guys, what do you say we do this giveaway? We have one more after this, or is this it?
I think we got one more after this.
Okay.
That'll be 4 total. Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, for this, you want to do a number for this one, and then the question I have for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to pick a number for this one as well. I'm going to make it a little more challenging. All right, guys. So when I say go ahead and give me a number. Only enter once. 1 through 15. Go ahead and go. 1 through 15. Go ahead and go. This is for an oil in the concession series, scent of your choice.
Like, I have a movie question for
I
you.
like that.
Yeah. What's up?
So, whenever a lot of times when people film movies, they don't like start from the beginning. They start just like random scenes throughout the movie. Is there just is that for convenience, like just the location and all that, or is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, that's purely for logistics in the ease of making the film. And that's always at the complete and utter bane of the actor.
Go ahead and stop. Go ahead, Michael. So
actors, as an actor, universally and without argument, every actor wants to film the film or show chronologically and linearly from start to finish, because a story is a narrative that, unless it's David Lynch or Twin Peaks, and maybe it's different, but it's usually a linear storyline. And the best stories are the ones where people change. When the movie ends, the character is someone different than they were when it started. And so as an actor, when you embody that character, you want the experience to be able to chart and form your own change that you take. Unfortunately, a lot of movies are not filmed linearly and chronologically.
Yeah.
Jump around because it's like, well, this scene takes place at this location, and we only have this location on this specific day. So we have to knock that out this day, and that'll be like a scene towards the end of the movie. And then the next day, they're at a different location, or maybe they have a star actor who's got limited availability, and they're only available for this day. So now there's a random scene in the middle that's filmed the next day, and they'll jump back and forth. They have to do it, for logistic purposes, but it's terrible as an actor because you're trying to remember what state of mind am I in? This was days before, this was hours after. Like, it's hard. It's hard from an emotional standpoint, but that's why it happens.
Wow. All right, guys. So we do have our winner, and let's throw some love in the chat for our man Josh.
Nice.
Congrats, Josh.
Win. So, Josh, go ahead and reach out to Michael or us on Instagram with your address, and then take a look online on the Last Look site. Concession series, oil, scent of your choice. Highly recommend ginger ale, personally.
Right. Yeah. Andrew says root beer. Kyle and I say ginger ale. What do you? I know you're gonna probably say all of them, but is there one specific?
I think I know Michael's favorite.
Really like?
Root beer.
Ah, yes, I was right. I was going to say, I know Michael's favorite. He's mentioned root beer before.
Yeah.
I know the backlash that I've heard on the buttered popcorn is just that a lot of people are very weary on just having that butter type smell, in your beard. But I tell you what, I love popcorn once in a while. It's just so fun because it's just so spot on. And I remember like when my collection was just, a few oils, and that was one of them. And I was, showing my dad, some of these scents and stuff, and he gravitated to that buttered popcorn so much. He loved that one too. So, I love ginger ale. I'll recommend that one. But if you really want something fun and something to wear, once in a while, I'm going to throw my recommendation of butter popcorn out there.
Especially if you have kids, it's a fun one for them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not if you have a dog, though, because the dog won't leave you alone.
All right.
I'm just kidding. No, the scents are insanely spot on.
Yeah.
Like you have to smell them to know what we're talking about. It
If you
smells
collect beer products, it has to be in there.
than buttered popcorn smells.
Thank you.
Brad, the snow caps are my wife's favorite. She loves the snow caps.
Be right back, guys.
And then Josh, the cookie dough bites, those are my favorite candies for the movies.
Well, there's a lot of snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally just love popcorn when I go to the movies.
Me too.
I used to be, so I go to the movie, well, in a different world. I went to the movies a lot, and I used to be someone who would not eat or do anything. I would go and I'd buy my ticket. In Los Angeles, movie theaters are really expensive. I'm sure they're pretty expensive everywhere, but it's like outrageous, like $19.50 for a ticket. It's just crazy.
Oh.
So I would just go and sit there. But when MoviePass got really popular, and then after MoviePass died, I did the AMC subscription, and so then I wasn't paying for each movie, and so that's actually how they got me to buy popcorn every single time. So now, not now technically, but like for quarantine, it's popcorn every single time.
Yeah, Everett, that kind of depends. Do you want something that's just really straightforward, like a birthday cake, or do you want something that's a little bit more complex and it's going to change over time? That really depends. Both are great. If you want something fun like a birthday cake, it's great. It's when it comes to food, like straight food items like that, it's hard for me to call it an everyday wear. I think a lot of food items, it's impossible to be an everyday wear, but Black Lodge kind of defies that a little bit because you have the coffee, you got the pie, and then I'm drawing a blank on what else I'm missing there.
Washington Forest.
Yeah,
it's a forest.
the forest.
I call it Washington Forest, but it's fir, it's pine, it's cedar, it's redwood.
Yeah, I'd go Black Lodge is an everyday and every night wear, in my opinion. Birthday cake is a fun one, like once a week type of wear for me.
If you're a collector, I'd do birthday cake because that's not going to be around much longer.
True.
And then you could always get Black Lodge down the road.
Right now, I mean,
Good point.
I know I have 3 or 4 left. If anyone's interested and they're watching this stream right now, if they want to hit me up, we can, or if you buy an oil and just leave a note, I can swap it, as long as I still have a couple left. But I've made a very limited batch for that because that was only available for the month of October.
Okay. Awesome.
So you guys want to go back to back here and do our last giveaway with the question?
I think so. Yeah, we're getting close to that 2-hour mark. And, yeah, I think so. What do you guys think, Andrew and Michael? You cool with that?
I'm cool with that, but I don't want to choose a question because that stresses me
No,
out.
I got the question.
Okay, good.
I got a question. So since we're doing a question, what are you thinking? What are you thinking for this giveaway?
I don't know. On the one hand, I'm thinking a trio.
Okay.
If that's What do you guys think?
Trio sounds good.
Sick. Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
And will that be of their choice, and of course, other than the below the law? Then
Correct.
Sounds good.
Huge giveaway here. So we're doing a trio of anything but below the law.
Right.
All right, guys. So
here's a good question, really quick. I'm sorry.
Live deliciously.
from Pete.
New England forest is maple, birch, and oak. I use terms like New England forest and Washington forest in my scent profiles, mainly because I want to evoke the sense of place. The films that inspired me, a lot of times they have such a strong sense of location that's integral to the story. So I'll kind of create like a woodsy accord with the specific trees, and I'll call it New England forest. But that's maple, birch, and oak.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I've said it a few times already. I'm addicted to these Dixon flannels, and you'll be seeing them. You'll be seeing them frequently. I'm a flannel guy till I die. Actually, even when I die, I want to be buried in the flannel, probably.
You got to be careful when you say that while you're wearing flannel, because
Yes.
you don't want to bring on some doom.
I know. Well, I have a wooden desk that I'm currently knocking on.
Okay, good. You're safe. You're safe.
Yeah, I'm safe. So, all right, Kyle, I'm anxious to hear this question. What are we doing?
It's very simple, but the person who gets it right deserves the giveaway. That's the best way I can put it.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we're about to do our last giveaway because we're going to be signing off here relatively soon. So get your fingers ready. So again, this is not you, Andrew. It's like, this is so confusing.
Right.
So this is a trio. This is going to be an oil, a balm, a butter. Scent of your choice, except Below the Law, which is the new one. All right, guys. So I have said this before on a previous stream. Michael has said this at the beginning of this stream. First one on my screen to pop up gets it. What was the first movie scent that Last Looks dropped? Go.
Kyle, I really like that question because it doesn't require a lot of external knowledge. In fact, if you're in this whole stream, you know. That's props, man. That's a really great question.
So we need the exact name of the scent, guys.
Hey, Everett, you're asking about is the scent maple wood or maple syrup? It's maple wood.
Guys, we have a winner. Let me just verify. Hang on. All right, guys, go ahead and stop. And look at that. There was a lot of people that got it right, but not specifically like we were looking for. And this man has been wanting to win a giveaway for the longest time. Let's throw some love in there for my brother, Steve, for the family, who is all happy he got this one because Steve is a huge Last Looks fan. Steve has ginger ale, and he has, I think, the trio of What the Cuss, and I know he loves it. So let's throw that for Steve for the win. So Steve on Instagram. Steve, hit up Michael. Go on the website, see what scent you want. Again, you get a trio: oil, butter, balm. Congrats on the win, my friend.
Yeah, it was the family, Live Deliciously, Black Lodge, What the Cuss, Ringing Bells, and now Below the Law.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. That's it.
And Jake is coming in late with a good effort in 31 and 11. Which actually 31, I don't know about 11, but 31 is a movie title by Rob Zombie. Not very great, but still, it's a movie.
Hey, Michael, to your point, I saw two people guess The Godfather.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Right. Devin.
You're so close.
Right.
Yeah.
That all right. So here's a good question for everybody. We'll go round table. Out of all the movie scents, including the new one, which is obviously fair because we've all smelled it, which scent is most spot on to the movie?
That I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of those movies.
Oh, okay. I guess that would make it tough.
But from what the research I did with Black Lodge, that's just
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably ringing bells. I mean, when I smell it, I think of an old school boxing gym right off the bat, and Raging Bull is that old school type boxing movie. But the family, And I think that's what you're going to say, Kyle, if I'm not mistaken. The family's right up there too.
Yeah. So I'm not a ringing bells. I'm sorry, Michael. What's ringing bells inspired by again?
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull. I liked Raging Bull, but it's not like in my category. I think of Rocky when I think of, because when I think of boxing, I think of Rocky.
Yeah.
It is so freaking spot on, but the family is ridiculous. If you're a Godfather fan, even if you're a Beard fan, whatever, you got to smell it. It smells like the movie. It just does. So that's my answer. So Steve's looking for favors here. You got to talk to the boss, Steve. And the rules are the rules.
I'm personally all for it because I just like, I don't know, 'cause just why not? We said, but if I'm gonna do that, we already told other people we could, like some other people won already.
Well, here's
no.
Go ahead. Your choice. Sorry.
Let's do it because I hate to say no. Like I don't want to. Let's do it. Anyone else who won, though, if you're still around, the rules have changed.
Your company.
Yeah. Anyone, if you're here and you won previously tonight, I know that we said below the law was not included. It now is.
You made him feel bad. I was just asking.
I tried to be that guy that said, no, Steve, just pick something else.
You did. I know what I was going to say because it's my brother. I was going to say, Michael, tell him buy one more product at 25% off, and then I'll let you have the trio at the trio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the deal, man. And we haven't said it in a while. I'm not super great at remembering like self promo or whatever, but that does remind me. People who are in the stream and you see this, the code Lawbreaker, that's only available until tonight at midnight Pacific time.
Yeah, guys, the entire store is 25% off. So us horrible people at math, your trio is about $50, right?
Yeah.
Like 48 and change. So you're talking an oil, balm, butter, 48 and change. What's minus 25% of that? You're looking at about 40.
That's like minus $10, $11.
Right. So now you're looking at about $40 for those three products.
Mm.
Oh, look at that. My brother was saying.
And we're, in addition to the 25% off code, we're also doing a deal here that anyone who makes a purchase using this code, when your subtotal exceeds $50, we'll throw in your choice of beard oil. Just leave it in the notes what you want, and we'll throw that in. If you use the code Lawbreaker before midnight and exceed $50.
Look at that.
Right.
And then after this, y'all's code is Beard Talk 10, right?
Yeah. It's either Beard Talk 10 or Kyle and Joe 10.
Oh, yeah. Our code is Kyle and Joe 10, which is a permanent code for 10% off, right?
Yeah.
So Steve's saying he was leaning towards the family. That's tough. I think for him, I really think he would like either or. But this is going to sound funny, but I just think he's a Godfather fan. And I just want him to be able to smell it. I mean, I could give him mine, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Right.
I think
the family body wash is, I mean, I love the oil, balm, butter in it, but man, the body wash in the shower is, I'm saving like my last couple drops because I'll just end up buying that one, but I do want to get some below the law shower products too. So
I want to get Black Lodge. I want that body gel. Oh, it sounds so good.
Perfect in the morning. Perfect.
Look at that. I remember when Josh, when we kind of first met him, and he was like, I'm looking to buy some products. What do I buy? I'm like, The Family by Last Looks. And I remember that was last winter when that happened.
Yeah. So
the family for fans of The Godfather, I'm particularly proud of the family, the way the text came out, so I design all my labels, and I try to make them the design of them tie into the movie Hopefully, if I do it well, hopefully it's enough that when you look at the label of my products, you will hopefully be able to know exactly what film it was from. Now, I can't really take credit for The Godfather because the title, the design is so iconic.
Yeah.
People just know The Godfather when you see that text design. But I'd spent a lot of time and effort really trying to make that right, and I think I got the design right. So if you're a fan of The Godfather, I think that among the whole collection is the one where it stands out in terms of being recognizable as like a Godfather homage. But Below the Law, that has a pretty iconic text design for the title of the show too. And so I think that if you're a fan of Better Call Saul, when you see the Below the Law labels, you'll recognize this is a Better Call Saul inspired product.
It's just, Below the Law is just so unique.
Fantastic.
And it's refreshing though. So I whenever I try a new product, we almost have like a routine. I shower, I put it in, I come downstairs, instantly walk to my wife. I'm like, I don't say a word. I'm just like, smell this. And her word today is the first time she smelled it. She was just like, refreshing. That's all she said. Mm-hmm. And I think that nails it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good scent. So yeah, as we hit that 2-hour mark, I think it's probably a good time to start wrapping up. But I want to leave some Andrew first and foremost. What do you have up and coming with you? And then Michael, feel free to
please plug away, Andrew.
Yeah, me is moving and getting everything taken care of there. And then once I get back, for those that weren't here earlier, I'm doing a stream where I interview veterans and then people with stories to tell, whether it be about addiction, something personal. Mm-hmm. So I want to get back into that. Eventually, I'll get back into beard product reviews. Last Looks. If I could only use one brand for the rest of my life, it'd probably be Last Looks. One of the main reasons is because of customer service. Michael is he's more than a business owner. He's more than a company owner. He is a brother. He's a friend. Like for those who didn't hear earlier, he's when I was going through my personal struggles, he was literally texting me every single day, making sure I was fine. He's one of those guys who will text me at random, say, "Are you doing okay?" And so it goes beyond products too. As much as I love the products, it goes beyond that. Yeah. Now he has the body washes, he has the shampoo and conditioner, the beard wash and the conditioner. It's just like he's growing, he's expanding, he has merch now. It's just like if you have not tried Last Looks, you need to get involved on it. So you'll be seeing plenty more Last Looks.
Yeah, it's yeah, man, dude, you nailed it. I mean, dude, there's and we're not just saying this because Michael's sitting here. Yeah. Because when it's all said and done, Michael's in another state, so I can still say whatever the heck I want. But I'm just joking. But no, seriously, I mean, Michael is that he's that owner he's a community guy through and throughout. Customer service is just absolutely top notch. He's got everyone's back, and he's just producing just amazing products across the board. And we're talking about the oils, we're talking about the butters, the balms, and we didn't even really get a chance to dive in to some of those shower products that, Michael, I would love for you to kind of close us out and talk about maybe some of those, because I know some aren't quite released yet, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, I'd be happy to talk about that. So right now we have the full cinema series available in body wash gels. And I've really been spending a lot of time and effort developing hair shampoo, hair conditioner, beard wash, and beard conditioner. Mm-hmm. These are something that I'm taking really seriously. I'm working with a local chemist, cosmetic chemist company, and I'm trying to do this right. Like I want to make something that's hopefully in a class of its own. I've been spending a lot of time on this. We haven't officially launched any of the hair shampoo and conditioner or the beard wash and conditioner yet. Although Andrew here, one time I accidentally made available the family hair shampoo and hair conditioner, and Andrew found it on the site, and I was like, "Oh no, that's a problem." But I actually just left it on there. So the people that do find it, I've been selling them, and they've been available to those
Wow.
who are willing to seek them out on the website. But there will be, in the future, we will have launch events for our hair care line and for our beard shower line.
Nice.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the beard wash and conditioner. We've been testing it for a solid month, but I think it's over that.
Oh yeah, way over that now.
Phenomenal. I love it. What I struggle to find, I can find good conditioners. I struggle to find a good beard wash. I don't like stripping. My beard is thick and it's easy to dry out, and I love it, man. Absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a true everyday wash for sure.
Yes.
Very, very minimal, if any, like stripping, but you're gonna walk out knowing that your beard still had a good cleanse.
Yeah.
Especially especially in the middle of a pandemic and stuff like that. Kyle and I have both upped our washing routines to literally
7 days a week,
every day of the week. About 6 days for me. I think Kyle, what did you say? 7?
7 every day.
Yeah. So, and that's very important. And, for, stripping washes, you really don't want to do that every day, but, you produce something that you can use every day and still walk out knowing that you got those germs out and stuff too. So very awesome. Can't wait for that. Michael, man, dude, it's been a pleasure. Andrew, it's been amazing having you on here as well and developing this relationship. I want to do this again more, and I really look forward to your future content, man. You're a great person. You're a great veteran, and thank you again so much for what you do for us. And very happy early Veterans Day to you, my brother, and everybody who has joined us and stuck around this entire time. And we appreciate you so much, and that's all I got. That's all I got. So.
And thank you, Michael, for the discounts and for the giveaways, man. You don't have to do that. Michael works hard for his money. He works hard for his product. So thank you for doing that for our viewers. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I thank you guys, all three of you, for hosting this, for having me here, for setting up this event. Thank you so much.
And you know what? I do have one thing, because I've had this question up here for a while.
Oh, yeah.
To get to it. This is an amazing question, and Jay Cruz always has amazing.
Yes.
I already got my answer.
Yeah, so let's hear this before we sign out, because it's an excellent question.
Okay, this is a hard question for me to answer. Again, this is going to be one of those things where in the middle of the night I'm going to be like, "Oh, that I figured it out."
Yeah.
But I do have an answer. This is the first thing that comes to my mind, and it's totally random because this isn't a popular movie. It's not even a particularly good movie. It has its good parts. But the ending, to me, I think could be improved, and I'll tell you how. The movie I'm thinking of is called Adventureland. This came out around 2009 or 10, and it had its own problems because I think that it was melodramatic in ways that made it clunky, but it had great supporting performances by Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig. They actually even stole the show, in my opinion. But the movie is just about kind of an angsty a young guy's tumultuous, like on again, off again relationship with this girl. It's like, and a lot of the dramatic tension is built on the fact of like, is this relationship, is it going to go, or are we not compatible? What's going on here? I won't give away the ending, but what I realized at the beginning of the third act of the story is that this angsty young man who has been contemplating whether or not he should continue and pursuing the relationship with the girl, he has a best friend that he confides in throughout the movie. And there's a lot of really emotionally vulnerable scenes where him and his best friend really get to know each other and open up. I honestly thought that him and his best friend were going to end up kind of romantically figuring out, hey, it's you and me. Like, we're the one. This is the relationship here, which would have obviously made it a whole different story entirely. But
sure.
I actually probably would have preferred seeing that. It would have been more interesting, and I think a more successful love story, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
There it is again. Never a typical movie answer. I love it.
Yeah, I can't think of a specific movie off the top of my head, but me and Pete are very much in sync. Yes, change the ending of Dexter, and there's the rumors out there that Michael C. Hall signed off to do I think one more season, and I think they said that they're not going to change the ending of the previous season, but I think they're going to do the justice that people are looking to. So maybe Pete we'll get what we want, but yeah, that would be my answer for right now until they actually produce that.
Cool. For me, it'd be Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were talking about that earlier. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. My answer is not a movie, but I'm going with it anyway. The Sopranos. It was too darn good to end that way. And that's such a cop-out answer because that's but that's
right.
My second choice is How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Underrated. I've seen a handful of episodes, but I remember the response was widely just critical of that ending. It seemed like a lot of fans were disappointed. And that reminds me of maybe the most universally agreed upon terrible ending would be Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I noticed Lost was mentioned in here.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Never saw Lost.
That's interesting because Lost actually was the first television series that I watched. I grew up with very little television and movies in my household, and that's why I saw Forrest Gump when I was 19. I didn't really get into films until maybe 18 or 19. In fact, 90% of all the great films, like the truly, truly great films I've seen in my life, I've seen after age 25 easily. But I rewatched Lost. That was the first show I ever watched as it was airing. And I rewatched it only 4 or 5 months ago. And I liked the ending. It was fine. Here's the thing about Lost. To me, the best part of Lost is the mystery. It's existing in that suspended state of I only know a little bit of what's going on. There's so much I don't understand, and I want to keep watching and finding that out. So I personally think that there's no such thing as a satisfying ending that Lost could have provided. I don't know if they could have pulled it off.
The funniest thing about the ending of Lost is that Mark Hamill in the video game Arkham City, now the ending of Lost was referenced in a part of Arkham City where he's just where he's so angry about it. And he's talking about, imagine your favorite TV show and they ended horribly. That's what's going on right now.
Wow.
Along those lines. And so that's the only reason I know that.
Wow.
Yeah. No.
All right, fellas. I think if we don't cut it off, we'll be here till 4 in the morning.
True.
But again, another huge thank you to Michael from Last Looks. Thank you so much, Andrew, for being here. And I'll tell you, this foursome just worked. I think next time we have a stream, we got to make it happen again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Make sure you guys go to lastlooks.com and check out some stuff. It'll be well worth it, I promise.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Be safe, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
See everybody.